What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So I want to take a look at Texas today, the Senate race, and I saw something really interesting. I want to show you guys. Let me just go right over to it. And so when we look at this Texas race, just to catch you guys up to speed if you haven't been following this, there's a runoff. There's runoff is going to be in May, late May, and that's going to be between Cornyn and Paxton. Right now, they're polling. They're pretty close in the polling. Okay, so no one really has an advantage. We haven't heard the president come out and endorse Cornyn or endorse Paxton. We thought that the president was going to come out and endorse Cornyn, but it looks like the president's backed away from that. And so now this race is very close between the two. They're both Republicans. They're both running in that Republican primary. They weren't able to get in the Republican primary back in March. They weren't able to get the 50+1. And so that is why we're looking at a situation where we have this runoff. But what I want to focus on right now is I want to focus on fundraising, because this is going to blow your mind when I show you these numbers here. If we're looking at these numbers, Tallarico was able to raise $27 million. Cornyn, $2.7 million. Paxton, $1.7 million. Now, of course, Tallarico is the Democratic nominee. So he is right now, all the Democrats in Texas and even outside of Texas, they know that he is going to be running against one of the Republicans. And so they can fundraise knowing that their money is not going to be wasted, if you want to look at it that way. Because right now, Cornyn and Paxton, they're running against each other. And so the fundraising that they're receiving, so you let's say you want to invest money into a candidate, so you invest money into Paxton, but Paxton loses in the runoff. Well, now you've kind of wasted your money, because Cornyn is going to move forward and challenge Tallarico. So when we're looking at the money, the Republican donations, we're looking at it kind of split. Some people might be donating to Paxton. Some people might be donating to Cornyn. Some people might be donating to both Paxton and Cornyn. But when you're looking at these numbers, I mean, this is a huge difference. Okay, so look at the numbers again. 27 million compared to 2.7 million for Cornyn, 1.7 million for Paxton. And so even if you were to add those together, the Republican donations, you add them together, it's not even close to the 27 million. And so what we're seeing here is we're seeing that Tallarico is gaining support, a lot of support. That doesn't guarantee that he's going to win in Texas, but what that does show is people are confident enough in Tallarico and his abilities that they are donating money to him. It's very important. That gives that's another sign. So not only are we looking at polling, but we're also looking at where is the money going? Who's donating to who? And right now, Tallarico is able to really raise a lot of money. And why is that important? This is important because Democrats, if they can win in Texas, if you take everything else off the map and you just say, okay, what happened in Texas? I think if we see Tallarico win in Texas, then we're going to see that blue wave. We're going to see some other states change, because Texas, it's going to be hard for Tallarico to win. And if we see that momentum that Democrats have right now, if we see that continue, we could very well see Tallarico win in Texas. And so if we're looking at a situation where you have Democrats and independents at 47 and Republicans at 53, let's say Tallarico is able to win in Texas. And so if we see Tallarico win in Texas, we're probably going to see movement elsewhere. And I think the movement that we'll see, the first movement that we'll see in North Carolina, I think Roy Cooper is most likely going to win in North Carolina. In Maine, I think Plattner, if Plattner beats Mills, I think Plattner has a real good shot at winning in Maine. And then when we look at Alaska, I think Peltola has a really good shot. Even though Sullivan is an incumbent, I think Peltola, if we're seeing this wave, if we're seeing this momentum, if we're seeing a lot of independents change from voting for a Republican, voting for President Trump, to voting for a Democrat, or not even showing up to vote, I think Democrats have enough right now to move that needle, to win in Alaska, to win in North Carolina, to win in Maine. And then if we see that in Texas, that's the wave that Democrats need in order to take back control of the Senate. And I think if we see this in Texas, we might also see it trickle over into Ohio. I think Sherrod Brown has a really good shot. So we could potentially see that. Now we have other states that are out there like Iowa. We have states like South Carolina. We have independents that are going to be challenging in Montana and Nebraska. And so this map could look a lot different after the midterm election. But I just wanted to show you, when it comes to fundraising, keep an eye on that fundraising. That's a lot of money that the Tellerico cap has been able to raise. And so we'll have to see how everything plays out. But right now, when it comes to the Senate, we're looking at this map, and this map is showing us that Democrats do have a pathway. It's also showing us that Democrats have the momentum. It's also showing us in some cases, just like in this Tellerico case, Democrats are able to raise a lot of money. I think in Ohio, Sherrod Brown is actually raising a lot of money as well, which is a good sign moving forward. I talked about special elections. We're seeing in special elections, Democrats are outperforming Republicans in special elections. That's another sign. So when you put everything together, we're not just taking a look at polls and saying, okay, well, the poll's saying this, and so that's what we think is going to happen. We're taking a look at the polls. We're taking a look at the who's able to raise money. We're taking a look at the special elections. We're taking a look at a lot of different things. We're looking at the economy, inflation. We're looking at what's going on in the Middle East. And so all of these things, you put all this stuff together, and it looks like Democrats have the opportunity to do really well in the midterm election in November. Let's go ahead and take a look at, this is what I'm calling a focus group. Okay, so what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be posting more on the community page. And I'm going to be asking you questions. I'll even show you some quizzes. And the reason why I'm doing this is I want to get an idea of how you guys are seeing the midterm election, how you're seeing things shape up. And I know I said question here, but this is actually a quiz. So it says, which state was described as moving from solid Republican to likely Republican? And this is according to the Cook Political Report. They just put this information out, and they've actually moved 4 states from, in Democrats' direction. Okay, that's basically what they're saying here. And so solid Republican. Now, Texas, you guys have 47%. Alaska, 11%. Nebraska, 22%. And Florida, 20%. Now, of course, the answer is Nebraska, and that's 22% there. But 47% of you said that it was Texas. Now, I can understand why you would think it's Texas. Texas, in my opinion, is still considered a red state. However, I think Texas is more of a lean Republican, not a solid Republican. And so Nebraska has been a solid Republican for a very long time. Now they've moved to likely Republican, and that's mainly because of Osborne, because of the independent that's running. But when it comes to Texas, in my opinion, there's a very good shot that Tellerico, that's why I say it's a lean Republican, because I think Tellerico has what it takes to win in Texas. And we're just going to have to see how it plays out. But I would not call Texas right now a solid or even a likely Republican because of what's going on. And also, you need to be looking at this race, this runoff between Cornyn and Paxton. The fact that you have Cornyn, an incumbent, struggling in a runoff right now tells you a lot about what's going on in Texas. You're seeing voters change their opinion about who's in office right now, about Cornyn, and they want to move with Paxton. A lot of them want Paxton over Cornyn. So you have a split right now when it comes to the Republican Party. Now, we don't know what's going to happen as a result of this, because you have a lot of support that's going to Cornyn, a lot of support that's going to Paxton. What happens if Paxton wins? That Cornyn support, do you think the Cornyn support is going to support Paxton, or do you think they're just going to stay home? And that is going to impact this race in Texas, because if they decide to stay home and not support Paxton, that means that Tellerico is going to have more of an advantage, because we already know there's a wave of Democrats, and you can even say some independents, that are very eager to vote for Tellerico. There's energy there. They're energized. They're ready to get out there and vote. Whereas Republicans, are we going to see the same thing if we see Cornyn win over Paxton, or if we see Paxton win over Cornyn? Are we going to see these Republicans that didn't win in this runoff vote for the other person? And so that's something we're going to have to see how that plays out. We'll have to see with fundraising where that goes. We'll also have to see with polling if we're still going to see Republicans support a Cornyn or support a Paxton. And I should have mentioned this right off, but you had 1,200 people that answered this quiz. And so now I want to pass it off to you. What do you think about this? Let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more. And remember, stay informed, stay engaged, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye. So that's all we have for this video. Make sure if you guys want to send me an email, you can do that, david@thetecshow.com. Like the video, subscribe for more, and check out these videos over here for some more great content. Talk to you later. Bye.